So it's obviously a cold, wet day here. We've got about a minute and a half left to start of the race 2 in the N&DCA Midweek series. What happens is about a minute to go, all the entrants are given a pen. So we'll see shortly which pen I will be put into. Oh, and the sun, looks like the sun's come out. And there we go, I'm in pen 5. It's usually at a 7. So, and if you look on the right, you see I'm number 35. That is my seeding out of how many in this race? 61. So around about halfway ability wise. So what happens is you'll put in a pen and most of these riders, if not all the other riders, will be bots, so AI riders, but half will be slightly better than me, half will be slightly worse than me, so you will get a good race. Sometimes you put near the top end, sometimes you end up near the bottom end. It just depends on how many other human riders are and how they have been putting other pens and how the pens spread. And there we go. Now if you look on the bottom, you'll see the profile of this course, and there are 3 sort of short, sharp hills and a couple of shorter, not so sharp ones as well. With this race, or this course particularly, I find that as long as I am near front when we get to each of these sharp hills and push hard, I can usually stay with, hopefully, the lead group. Sometimes not, and I end up in the second group. We'll see how we get on today. So I'm sort of hiding in the group at the moment. I like to be near the front at the start, because then if it does split, I'm in the right half. If you look at the big number right at the top of the screen there, 221, that's my power, and underneath we have average power, normalised power and maximum power, and then to the left of that is the heart rate, and to the right of that cadence, with averages and maximums beneath those as well. Okay, so here we are, we're at the foot of the first sharp hill, and the climbers are coming to the fore, because all these bots will have their own individual abilities. So some will be climbers, some will be sprinters, some will be wheel suckers, some will be aggressive riders, as a whole range. There I am, and the green light is an indicator of how hard I'm working, based on what my maximum or threshold, however they do it, is. So there are lots of green lights that came past me, and the ones at the front now, if I look closely there, they're not green, they're orangey red, it looks like. So they're working, but not as close to their limit as I am, in order for me to get on their wheel. Now with this platform, it matches real life so accurately. So I've got there on the top, but what happens now, of course, you get to the crest of hill, and unless you blast over the top, you'll get left behind. That's how it works in real life, and it certainly seems to work with these bots as well. So I need to put a bit of an effort in there to stay in touch. And because I've eased off, I'm getting left behind, so you've got to stay on the ball. Let's make sure I am with this group, because when it flattens out, it's not very windy. Looking at the top right, it gives me the wind direction, which is a tailwind at the moment, but 0 kph, so not too bad wind-wise today. Also at the top right, in that box, you've got a little map there, the amount of draft you've got, which is that blue line, which is well in the draft now. And also next to that is the gradient. So a 2% downhill at the moment. So with a downhill, in a little bunch, no wind, I don't have to work too hard. So I'm around about 150 watts now. So maintain, or recovering perhaps after that hill. And then I'll have to do the same again in the next hill. We'll see. So while it's a little bit quiet, let's have a look on the right hand side below the map and the wind, etc. We've got a little box there showing my nearby riders, currently 9th out of 61, and then you can see there's 5 riders ahead of me and 4 behind, and basically that's this group in the bunch. You can also see the sort of speeds people are going at, and also the time gaps. So if I look now, because I'm in the bottom, it keeps changing. Oh, the speeds have gone red. That's because auto braking comes in. So when your speed goes red, auto braking comes in when you're getting to a sharp corner. There's no point pedaling through it because you're wasting those watts. So just ease off, and a bit of practice you get to understand when you can stop pedaling and ease off, and when you have to accelerate out of the corner. Again, like going over the top of hills, going around corners is like real life. You can leave the brake until quite late on and then accelerate out of the corner. And then next to that, the nearby riders, you can see the breakdown of the groups. So we are 3 seconds behind one leading rider, Monica, is it? Yep, Monica Drake. And the little box says it's me and 11 others at 4 seconds. In fact, we can see Monica now in the distance there, and we've got a rider coming up. If you look over to the right, you can see the speed he's going, and he's gone past us. If you can see riders come up behind you, it's worth having a look at your nearest rider list to see what speed are they going. Do I need to accelerate, and do I want to hop on their wheel and perhaps get a bit of toe away from this group, or do I just let them go? Right, we've got to the second of these short sharp hills, so I need to make the effort, and everybody else, almost everybody else, is really pushing it. Again, it's going to be important if I can hang on to this group. Make sure we push hard over the top of the hill. And there we go. Still pushing hard to make sure I'm in this 4 in case this is a split, because it's quite a long flat bit after the bottom of this hill. So if these 4 go away, I would like to be with them. There we go. I'm there. Yep. So I can sort of ease off now a bit. A bit more braking because of this sharp corner for the speed we're going anyway. Now, if we have a look on the where we can see the groups again, now we've got me and 9 others. That's this group here, and we're 4 seconds ahead of Isaiah Macmillan, 14 seconds ahead of another group of 10, and then we've got a number of 2 groups, each of 2 riders, and then the peloton of 26, about just over half a minute behind, and then sort of the stragglers that didn't hang on up the hill. Okay, so things are looking good at the moment. we've still got 12. If we look at the top right in the bottom of the box where it says lap 1 out of 2, you can see how far you've got left to go, and we've got 12.3 kilometres left to go. So early days, but over half a minute above the peloton with both those the first 2 sharp hills done. Means I'm fairly happy at the moment. So I'm still having to work. I mean, my FTP is sort of 215, 220, and my average power is 215. So I've had to work hard to get to this point. If we look at my heart rate, anything over 150 is hard work. Anything below 150, certainly in the low 140s, that's going to mean I'm fairly comfortable. So that's where I'd like to keep it, because it means I'm conserving a bit of energy for when it hots up later on. If we look on the top left, we can see details there, the sort of detail you'll have on your bike computer if you're riding. So time that's actually passed since the start of the race, so about 10 minutes, distance covered, the climb, 54 metres in total climb done so far, and the current speed. And then below that you've got your TSS or kilocalories, depending on what they mean to you. With all of this information, you can tweak it. So you can have different stats at the top. You can turn off bits. So if you don't want to see the nearest riders, you don't have to see those, or the groups or anything, or the profile at the bottom you don't have to have. You could have an actual graph shown, or your power and cadence, how that's changed with time if you want. How I've set it up for this race actually is how I like it for almost everything I do on this platform. So some things I wouldn't need for a race, such as how many TSS, etc. But if I don't have to change it, then I don't have to worry about changing it back when I do something different, like a workout or a group ride or something. Now, some things I will change depending on what I want to do, but I tend just to leave it like this for everything. Okay, so where are we at the moment? So we're on the flat bit of the course. So let's say a little bit more about this event. So this is race 2 in a series of 4. So the way it works is that there are, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and usually Thursday as well, there are up to 3 different time slots. Sometimes 4, in fact, depending. 3 or 4 time slots on each day when you can ride the race for this week. So depending on how it fits in with your work commitments, where in the world you are, because of course you can be in Australia, you can be in Canada, you can be in the UK, etc. So in a typical race like this, there may well be 20 or 30 riders, humans that is, but everyone may be in a different race with another 60 riders, all bots. Okay. The beauty of this platform is it means that you can race on fairly equal terms. So the wind strength is set the same for all those races, although it can be slightly different. So you can set, as an organizer, you can set the wind strength as calm, which seems to be what I've done for this week. So all the races would probably have a 0 kph, or it may be 1 or 2, depending on how the algorithm works. So you can have also light, medium and strong. Now if the wind is strong, then you perhaps looking at 20 kph wins. But again, it can be a range, so that in some races it could be at the higher end of that range and others could be the lower end of the range. So it makes for a slightly different situation for different riders depending on the time slot. Okay, so you win the race, you get 100 points. If it's pen 1 and you win, you get 100 points. If it's pen 7 and you win, you get 100 points. So it means that the weaker riders, in terms of power, that is, not necessarily in terms of tactics, but the weaker riders have got just as much chance of winning as the stronger riders. But it's hard work. Whatever way you do it, it's hard work, because as you saw in this race, it's pen 5. So I'm racing not against, super athletes, but half of the bots in here are stronger than me on paper, but because they're bots, tactically possibly not as strong as me. So we're just coming up to a bit of a slope. Okay, now bearing in mind that these, I think, are climbers, that's how they got away. I'm going to have to work hard. You can see my green light there. Looks like I'm the hardest working person here. I'm going to have to work hard to just hang on. We've got somebody out in front there. Okay, no, two people out in front. One of which we're going to catch up very shortly, it looks like. There we go. Yeah, but we're 9 seconds behind Derek. Okay, but still early days, just over half the way through the race. With these races, you have to be sort of careful to keep your eye on what's going on. Normally, if it's a single rider that's gone away, I'm fairly comfortable with letting them go, because the chances are, in a reasonable sized group, we'll catch them. However, if from this group more went away in ones or 1s and 2s, and suddenly there was perhaps 3 or 4 staggered around ahead of us, it's possible they could come together and become a group, which then become hard to chase back rather. So in that case, I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking, oh, there's already 3 or 4 up the road. Another person's gone. I'm going to just stay on their wheel and see if they bring me up. Right, a little bit of a break in the commentary there because I had to go and answer the door. So, as I was saying, we have to keep an eye on the riders that are going ahead. So Derek is still there, but it's 7 seconds. He's not pulling away. If anything, we're slightly getting back to him. And of course, we're coming up to the last test. Now, on the approach to that, the group have put an effort in. If you're not paying attention, you can suddenly, a gap is there and the elastic can snap. So luckily, it's not too much of a wind either. So I'm not too concerned. But had that been a headwind and me losing a bit of concentration there, then I might not have been able to get back. But I'm back now, so that's okay. So, but still having to work hard. There's a bit of a slope coming up to here. And now we're going to turn right, if I remember the course, and work hard up this hill. So I'm going to get a bit of a head start because I know there's a strong climbers. There we go. This is me using a little bit of tactical knowledge. Get there early because they will come past me. And so I've passed Derek there. And here they come. We all got the green lights now. But it's short and I'm over the top. But be careful, don't ease too much because their lights are still on and mine's gone out. There we go. Let's get back to it. we go. Waiting for that little group to come by. My heart rate is well over 150, so I need to ease off as soon as I can. Well, obviously have to now because there's a bit of a corner, so a bit of braking there. As long as I stay in touch, when we get to the bottom of the hill, the bots do tend to ease off. Usually, always. No, I'm still having to work reasonably hard. Now, has this caused a little bit of a split here? Possibly. We'll see. Look at the speeds on the right, and no, those few behind, they're going faster than us, so that's not going to be a split. Unless, of course, they go faster than this little group and just push ahead without us. So keep an eye on that. They look as if they're pushing hard. Are they going to break away? No, I feel comfortable here, so I can continue with my rest. Heart rate is now approaching the 140s. Not quite there yet. So but I'm okay. So my power now is below 200. So it should, if it has settled down now, and this group we are, let's see, 23 seconds ahead of the following group of 8. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm 10th. I'm in a group of 10 at the front. Next group is a full 24 seconds back, and we've got less than 4k to go. So I'm fairly confident now of hanging on for at least 10th place. As much energy as I can conserve now will give me the best chance I've got of attacking over that last little hill. What I do know is that it's quite hard to win from a sprint. So leaving your sprint to the last minute is quite tough, because in a group of 10 the chances are some of these are going to be super sprinters. Because it's usually quite a range, and even though I'm thinking, well, there probably are the climbing group here, because we've had those big strong climbs to get over. Like me, it could be they are super strong sprinters and it's their sprint that's got them over the climb. So it's possible that it's going to be quite well, it almost certainly is going to be a very tough sprint. So my aim will be to rest as much as I can, and then that little hill just before the end is sprint over the top of that, try to catch them by surprise, and then hang on as long as I can to the line. Let's see how that goes. This particular course, we use this every month. It's usually race 2, and I do well or very badly, depending on whether or not I've got over these 3 sharp hills. But this is looking good at the moment, apart from the weather. But that doesn't actually affect indoor cycling, of course. So as long as you've got your fans on and you've got enough fluids, whether it looks sunny or looks wet and miserable, actually it's warm and wet through the sweat. So we've got 2.2k to go. My heart rate now is down below the 150, so feeling fairly comfortable. And now we're just turning up to the it's going to require a bit of effort, a couple of slopes before that final hill. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. It's too early to go. So let's just maintain a nice, reasonable work rate there. Don't want to get caught out. One thing I haven't mentioned is the you can watch your avatar from a number of different angles. So I've set this up because it's what I prefer for most races, so I can see what's happening behind me, I can see what's happening ahead of me. I've got quite a reasonable angle. You can alter the position of the camera up, down, left, right to suit your requirements. You can also change it so you have a rear view, a front view from behind your handlebars. I think there are 10 different options you can go for, even a helicopter view, but I find that fairly pointless because you can't really see what's going on below. The helicopter's quite high. But this, I think this is called the drone view, and this is set up for exactly how I like it. Right, so we can just see the Flamme Rouge ahead there. It's actually red flares, but that's the kilometre to go sign. Things are hotting up a bit. I'm having to work harder. My heart rate's over the 150, but we're less than a kilometre to go, and it'll go into the 160s if I do a sprint at the end. So let's see. We're getting close to that climb, so it's about time. I'm thinking about making my move. As soon as we go around this little left-hand corner, there we go. And off I go. Now, if I look at what happens now is I tend to look at the right-hand column and look at the speeds of the other riders. So I'm doing 37 and they're doing about 10k less than me at the moment. So I sprinted over that hill. Okay, I'm still going a lot faster than they are, but what have I got? 350 meters to go. So I'm feeling fairly comfortable. This is going to be a win. But if we look at the other speeds now, they're doing their sprint, and they're in the 60s, so faster than I got. 70s, they're going fast. But I can ease off now because I can see they're 4 seconds behind. Even they're going 74 kph. I would have had no chance in the sprint if I left it to the last second rather. But by going early, I got enough of a gap, and I was, what, 2.3 seconds ahead of the second place rider. So there we go. That's racing on the TrainingPeaks virtual platform. So the key that makes this special is that if you join the races which are with bots ability matched, every race is fun because you've got a chance of winning, you've got a chance of being last, but you have to work hard. If you want to win, you've got to work super hard. So my average heart rate there was 143, maximum 163, normalised power 225. So I worked hard, I was canny. If I'd had to work much harder, our chances of me winning would have been very, very slim, because I just wouldn't have had anything left at the end. Okay, so I would recommend you give it a go.